Have you guys started messing with AI yet? AI is one of those things, guys, it's taken over the world. So you either got to get on board with it or you're going to get left behind. There's definitely some lines we need to draw and some guidelines, some principles we need to establish in using AI, but there's no point in just demonizing it. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what the best ingredients are and the ratio of those ingredients for the perfect rub for chicken. Not just chicken, competition chicken. Let's see what ChatGPT thinks is the ultimate barbecue spice for chicken. So everything to do with ChatGPT has to do with what you ask of it. So what I want to do is I want to tell it that it's a competition judge. And I want it to tell me the ingredients and the ratio of those ingredients of an award-winning best barbecue rub for chicken. So we got 30% paprika, 20% brown sugar, 15% salt, 10% black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne pepper, ground mustard, and oregano or thyme. Interesting. Why these work? Perfect harmony between sweet, salty, spicy, and savory. Works with different cooking methods. And depth of flavor. It says, when you apply this rub, give the chicken enough time to absorb all these flavors. Overnight is ideal. The result, a chicken that's juicy, flavorful, and packed with layers of smoky, sweet, and slightly spicy goodness. Well, I like the sound of it. I'm not sure about the oregano or thyme and the ratios, but we're gonna go with it and see what we come out with. Let's get this rub made. I'm gonna take the percentages and I'm gonna cut them in half and convert it to grams. So it says 30% paprika. I am gonna use smoked paprika, only because that's the one I have the most of. I don't know that I have that much regular paprika. Running a little low. So we're gonna go 15 grams. I'm gonna try to be right on the money here. All right, now we need 15 grams of brown sugar. We need 20% brown sugar, so that's 10 grams. The brown sugar is a little bit concerning because it's chicken. We're gonna be cooking it at higher heat, so I just don't want it to burn. Salt is 15%, so that's 7.5 grams. I'll zero out the scale. Black pepper calls for 10%, so that's 5 grams. Garlic powder, 5 grams. This feels like a lot of garlic powder. This stuff can be strong. Onion powder is 5%, so that's 2.5 grams. Next up is cayenne pepper, and we're doing another 2.5 grams. Ground mustard is 3%, so that's 1.5 grams. And last but not least, oregano or thyme. 2%, so we need 1 gram of, I'm gonna go with thyme for a little savory note. Interesting that I did a trial run of this before filming, and it went from cumin, ground cumin, to oregano or thyme, so it changed its mind just in a matter of minutes. Here we go. Let's give that a shake. Let's see how it turns out. We'll get it on some chicken. I've been in your waters. Now, in my opinion, there's no better way to cook a chicken breast than on the Blackstone with some butter. I took a pack of 3 breasts. I sliced each breast in half. Then I took a mallet and pounded them off as evenly flat as I could get them. Now I seasoned the first chicken breast with What the Cluck, and What the Cluck is a basic barbecue rub. I seasoned the second chicken breast with Stubbs black pepper.
but I use the Stubbs black pepper as a baseline because it's basically just salt and pepper. And then I use the ChatGPT on the third breast. And I think this way I'll be able to compare the differences a little better. Now let these guys cook on the Blackstone until we had a nice buttery crust on each side, and we had an internal temperature of about 160. And I took them off and let them rest for a few minutes. Now let's see what the differences are.
I love doing stuff like this, because a lot of times you'll get a surprise with the way that AI is, it's going to take over our world. It's just a matter about how we let it, what power we give it. Advanced food to enhanced food and things like that. I think the future is wide open. It's up to us to do little things to advance this and see where AI really helps us out as humankind. Just as a reminder, it's the same way it was on the grill. Over here is our what the cluck. Here's our Stubbs in the middle, salt and pepper, and our ChatGPT is over this way. So let's slice these guys and see what we have. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pick the best looking one of the three flavors, and I'm gonna slice it right in half. And then we'll kind of get a look at what we're looking at on the inside. I think I like this one better on the Stubbs. And on the ChatGPT, I think we're gonna go with this front one. They all have a beautiful crust to them. Very happy with the crust. Now they marinated for 2 days, a little under 2 days, about 40 hours or so. From pressing on them, this one feels a little more firm. You can kind of see the texture here. That could just be the breast itself, but this one's the softest. And then this one is in the middle. All right, let's get a little piece. All right, let's start as a baseline. We'll start with the salt and pepper, then we'll move to the what the cluck, and I'm gonna finish with ChatGPT. All right, let's try this Stubbs out. It smells delicious. Ooh, tender. Bold flavor. That salt and pepper just shine. That's good. Rinse my mouth out. Now it's time to go to what the cluck. Different texture, just like it looked like. Still tender. It's good. Not as bold, which is interesting. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much I enjoy them, this is gonna be a 9. That would be a 6. I like the texture better here. I like the flavor. It's more bold. And this what the cluck is just like a basic, barbecue rub. And I mean, that's what it tastes like, is just a little bit of basic barbecue rub. Now, I was expecting all of them to be a little bolder because I seasoned them very, I don't want to say very, but a little heavier than normal for a chicken breast because I wanted those differences to come shining through. Here we go, ChatGPT. AI chicken, my friends. Let's see how it tastes. Tender. Incredibly comparable to this one. Differences. This one finishes, the ChatGPT finishes with a little heat. And you can taste that herbal component, which is very interesting. It about halfway through your bite, it comes just kind of gradually on. And then about the second, you're thinking, what is that? And then when you realize what it is, the heat starts kicking in. I like that. I like it a lot. The boldest flavor is the stubs. The most tender is the stubs. If I'm putting a rating on the ChatGPT, it's going to be, I mean, it's real close to this. It's just going to be, you know, a step up. I'm gonna say a 7.5 is what I would put the ChatGPT. It's good, and there's nothing off. So very interesting that we have that spice and then that herbal component. I really like that, and I can't wait to see what else ChatGPT can do, and AI in general when it comes to the food industry, specifically barbecue. What do you think was off with the recipe on the ChatGPT recipe they came up with? Is that, what would you change, in other words? I think for me personally, to make it a little more family friendly, I'd probably reduce the amount of cayenne pepper just a little bit, because I like the spice at the end. I just think it's just a hair too much. Now that could also be done with applying less seasoning. The problem with less seasoning is then you're gonna get less of everything else too, and it starts as a mild flavor. So I wouldn't want to get rid of much there, but I would like to get rid of just a little bit of the heat on the back end. A lot of people love that herbal component. To be honest with you, it's not my favorite, and I knew that when I was mixing this, but you got to go with it, right? Like, that's what they're saying to do, so that's what I wanted to try. Where we go from here is I'm going to take that recipe and I'm going to start looking at maybe tweaking it a little bit, and we'll see what we can come up with, even with conversations back and forth with ChatGPT, to see how we can make this better. If I could get this kind of flavor with this kind of boldness, game changer. So let's see. If you haven't checked out the website yet, I want to encourage you to go over to Delmarva Backyard and check it out. You're going to find all kinds of wonderful recipes and things there. Your support means everything. Without your support, we couldn't continue to keep doing videos. I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, share it with someone who may be interested in this kind of thing, and I can't wait to see you on the next video, guys.